Okay, guys, welcome to our second lecture. So today I am going to talk about a propositional logic. So this is going to be a quick review on propositional logic, and I will solve some questions. And along the way, if you guys have any question, please just stop me and ask your questions. I will be hearing you hopefully. All right, so let's start without any further ado. So if you watched the videos, you already, and I mean, I am assuming that you guys already watched the videos, maybe not all of them, but at least the first few. The basics of propositional logic is the atomic sentences, all right? And an atomic sentence, we usually denote them as P or Q. Let me get something new because this is dead. So we denote them P, Q, R, S, T, etc. And so an atomic sentence is basically either a true or false statement. All right, that's very important. In the propositional logic, at least, we do not have sentences which are neither true nor false. They have to be one of them. They can't be both. Okay, so starting with the atomic sentences, we basically build a language, a more complicated language with other symbols like and, or, if, then, if and only if, etc. And so all these lectures that I was basically trying to explain how we form those languages. And the important thing is, obviously, with this language, we are going to make some arguments, and we want those arguments to be valid arguments, all right? And so what is valid argument? The valid argument is an argument where first off, what is an argument? Argument is a set of atomic sentences or a set of statements or sentences. They don't have to be purely atomic. And some of them are called premise, and there's going to be one conclusion, all right? In a more complicated argument, there might be sort of two conclusions, but two conclusions can be thought of as just one. So basically there are premises and conclusions. So that structure is called argument. The valid argument is an argument where, given that the premises are true, the conclusion is also true. Right? So this is a valid argument. So when you make an argument, and if your premises are false, well, we don't really care about whether the conclusion is true or false. All right. But if your premises are true, well, then we do care about the conclusion being true. If the conclusion is false, well, this argument is an invalid argument. If it is true, the argument is a valid argument. Okay, so how can we prove or show that an argument is a valid argument? Well, basically there are two ways. One is, proving the argument, direct proof, indirect proof, etc. Second, well, basically calculating the truth table of the argument, all right? And then see that whenever the premises are true, conclusion is also true. All right, so that's basically two ways of proving the argument. The proof is actually a shortcut for truth table. So what I would like to do first, solve an example where we show that an argument is an invalid argument by sort of picturing the truth table. And so we also go over the basics of the truth table. So here is the argument. So I have three premises. P implies Q is the first argument, and Q implies R is the second argument, and then not P is the third argument. Okay? The conclusion is therefore not R. Okay? So first, a P implies Q statement is basically, two atomic sentences get together and formed a more complicated sentence statement. Sometimes we read this as if P then Q. The not P is the negation, so sort of the opposite, all right? So it's not the case that P is true, All right, that's the idea. So here, the truth table starts with the atomic sentences. So I have P, Q, and R. So I have 3 atomic sentences in this entire argument. So therefore, I must start with 3 columns, P, Q, and R. So remember, each atomic sentence has 2 values, either true or false, all right? So an atomic sentence has to be one of them. Because I have 3 different atomic sentences, I have to analyze 8 possible cases. All right, so one of them is where all 3 atomic sentences are actually true. All right, another one is, the P and Q are true, R is false. All right, so what else? I'll just go and fill it up a bit more quickly. So basically I write 4T true, 2T and then 2 false, all right? And then I'm gonna write the falses here, 4 false. And then again I have true, true, false, false. And then the last atomic sentence, by the way, the order of PQR on this table doesn't really matter, whether you put R first, P second, Q last. It makes no difference at all. And so here it goes true, false, true, false, true, false, true, false. All right. So if you check, these are all eight possible cases regarding the values of the truth values of these atomic sentences. So let me picture those, because then we do not confuse with which truth value for which line, a row. So now I'm going to start putting my premises. So premises are sentences we assume correct. All right. So P implies Q. Well, obviously they may be wrong. Remember the very simple truth table, P implies Q. So that was maybe the basics of the entire propositional logic. So a statement like P implies Q, or if P then Q. So our truth table is very, very simple. And I try to give some explanations or sort of intuition why the truth table is as such. So when both arguments are true, P is Q, true, Q is true, then P implies Q is a true argument. When P is true but Q is false, well then this is P implies Q is a false argument. I think the example where if you get A plus from Econ 4010, I'm going to give you $50, $100, whatever. So this is a very nice example. So I'm not going to repeat it because we have a limited time. So if this is false but this is true, well, this is a true argument. Statement. When both P and Q are false, this is also true argument. Meaning, whenever P is false, all right, well, then this argument is always true. The P implies Q is always true. So this argument P implies Q can be false only when the second argument Q is false and the first one is true. All right. So for that reason, checking the validity of an argument is in fact P implies Q types of a complicated sentence. So this is like, premise 1, premise 2, premise 3, they all are P part, and then therefore, not R part, the conclusion is the Q part, all right? So it's just more complicated conditional sentence. So what I want to do is that I'm not going to have a situation like this, right? This meaning the premises are true, and then the conclusion is false. I don't want this to be the case. So this is basically what we mean by proving the argument or showing that it is valid. So P implies Q is the first premise. And then Q implies R is the second premise. And the not P is the third premise. And then I have the conclusion, not R. All right? Okay, so P implies Q, well, I'm going to fill, this column basically looking at the P and Q's truth values. So it is going to be true whenever both are true or both are false. Here it's going to be false. Here it's going to be false. This is true, 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 true. All right. Q implies R. I'm going to fill up this column by looking at these two columns. So true, true means true. True, false, false. False, true. Remember, it's always true. False, false is true. True, true, true. True, false, true. Oh, false, I'm sorry. False, true, true, and false, false, true. Right? What else? Not P. So not P is the negation of P. So if P is true, not P must be false. If P is false, not P must be true. So just the opposite. So I'm going to create this column by looking at P and by negating the truth value. So whenever it's true, this must be false. And whenever P is true, this must be false. I'm sorry, not P must be true. And finally, next, not R. Similarly, I'm just going to negate R. So this is going to be false, this is false, this is true, true, false, false, true, false, true, false, true. All right. So then I am going to look at the rows where my all three premise, remember premise 1, premise 2, premise 3, my all three premise are true. Clearly this is not one case, this is not a case, okay, this is not. All right, this is one case where all my premises are true. This is not, this is another case, and this is another case. All right, so I have three cases. These cases, again, are happening because of the different truth values of the atomic sentences. So these premises can be true, and then sometimes the conclusion is also true, but sometimes it's false. All right? So that means there are situations where my premises are true, but my conclusion is false. So therefore, this argument cannot be a valid argument. So it's an invalid argument. Right? Invalid argument. That's it. So this is basically how we prove a validity or invalidity of an argument by just drawing the truth table. And to be honest, we can prove everything, the theorems, conditional statements, everything by drawing the truth table. The reason we don't do that is because when the argument is complicated, meaning there are more and more atomic sentences, drawing the truth table is going to be way too complicated. So that's why we go for the proofs. Any question? Okay. So let's do some more example. I am trying to solve the examples that I put on the lecture notes. So some of them I already solved in the videos, some of them I did not, and so my intention is to solve the remaining ones during the review sessions. Okay, so this is section 4, question 1. Yep. So here's the question is, prove the following arguments are valid using a direct derivation. All right, so section 4, question 1. So I have just one premise. P implies Q and not Q. And then the conclusion, therefore, not P. Okay, so here is the argument. So how do we prove them? Well, first write down the conclusion somewhere else. I want to reach the not P statement at the end. That's the objective. So therefore, I'm going to start numbering my premises. So good. So given that I I have premise 1. What can I deduct from this? Well, remember this is an AND statement. So P implies Q and not Q. All right, so two statements are combined with an N sign. So by simplification rule, I know that if this is true, right, that's the idea. If this statement is true, both parts must be true. All right, that's the idea. If x and y is a true argument, well, then x must be true, y must be true. So that's the simplification rule. So I have P implies Q thanks to the simplification of the argument in line 1. And I also have not Q, again, thanks to simplification of the argument in line 1. What else? Well, so this is what does that mean? That means, look, P implies Q is a true argument, all right, true statement. Not Q is also a true statement, okay? So by the way, if not Q is true statement, that means Q is a false statement, right? You can also think it that way. So Q is a false statement, think it that way. So if Q is a false statement, how is it possible that P implies Q be a true statement? Remember the truth table? P implies Q is always true except one case where P is true, Q is false. All right. So therefore, this argument is a true argument only if P is also false. Okay. So therefore, well, we call this modus tollens. It's a rule of lines 2 and 3, but I'm just trying to explain you the reasoning behind the rule. Thanks to modus tollens, if P implies Q is true, not Q is true, well, you know what? Not P must be true as well. Okay, so P must be false, I mean. Okay, well, what am I trying to reach? Well, don't forget, I'm trying to reach not P, which I did. All right, so what did I show? As simple as this. If this statement is true, which is, because this is my premise, right? I can basically deduct that, you know, this is true, and this is also true. So that was my conclusion, and hence that's it. My premise, if my premise is true, my conclusion is also true. So therefore, this is a valid argument, and this is how we prove it. Okay, any question?